What if the most uncomfortable thoughts you've ever avoided were actually the doorway to meaning? What if distraction is not saving you, but slowly hollowing you out? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may see your own anxiety, boredom, and fear in an entirely new light. And I want you to tell me in the comments if it unsettles you, inspires you, or both. This is the story of Blaise Pascal, one of the strangest minds in human history, a man who stood with one foot in cold scientific reason and the other in burning spiritual terror. A thinker who believed that hope and despair do not cancel each other out, but instead move together like dancers who never touch. Pascal was born in 1623 in Clermont-Ferrand, France, into a world where death was ordinary, faith was assumed, and science was just beginning to fracture reality as people knew it. When Pascal was only 3 years old, his mother died. That absence, silent, permanent, and unknowable, etched itself into his mind. From that moment on, Pascal lived with an intimate awareness that life is fragile, temporary, and painfully exposed. His body seemed to echo this truth relentlessly. He was chronically ill from childhood onward, plagued by migraines, abdominal disorders, neurological episodes, hypersensitivity to sound and pain, and constant exhaustion. Imagine being a child who cannot escape his own thoughts because his body refuses to let him forget it exists. Because of his illness, Pascal lived a socially constrained life. While other children played, he observed. While others distracted themselves, he thought. And in that isolation, something unusual formed. A mind capable of seeing both the elegance and the horror of existence at once. Genius. By age 12, Pascal independently rediscovered Euclid's first 32 geometric propositions without ever having read Euclid. Let that sink in. By 16, he formulated Pascal's theorem, a result still taught in mathematics today. In his 20s, he invented one of the first mechanical calculators, laid foundational principles for probability theory, helped develop a hydraulic press and syringe, and even contributed to creating Paris's first public transportation system. Most people would consider that several lifetimes of achievement. Pascal was on track to become one of the greatest scientific minds of the scientific revolution, and then he walked away. By his early 30s, Pascal began abandoning mathematics and science entirely. Why would someone at the height of intellectual power do this? The answer lies in something deeply unsettling. At age 31, Pascal experienced what later became known as the Night of Fire. Alone one night, he was overtaken by an overwhelming visceral experience: fire, certainty, terror, peace, joy, and God, all at once. Not metaphorical fire, not poetic fire, fire as presence, fire as truth. Pascal described it as something beyond language, beyond reason, beyond philosophy. Some call it divine revelation, others call it psychological collapse. Maybe it was both. What matters is that Pascal was never the same. After that night, he stitched a note into the lining of his coat so he would never forget the experience. He carried it with him for the rest of his life. And then he began writing a book, not to explain the world, but to diagnose it. Before we go further, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had a moment late at night, alone, no distractions, where everything suddenly felt fragile, absurd, or unbearably real? If you have, tell me in the comments. I read them. And if this already resonates, take a second to like the video. It genuinely helps this channel reach others who need these ideas. Pascal's book was meant to defend Christianity, to pull people toward God, but he never finished it. He died at just 39 years old, his body finally giving out. What we have instead are fragments, notes, aphorisms, scattered reflections, later compiled into a work known as Pensées. Ironically, Pensées became famous not because it proved God, but because it exposed humanity. Pascal planned two parts. First, a brutal diagnosis of the human condition. Second, Christianity as the cure. But what survives is mostly the diagnosis, and it is devastating. Devastating. Pascal believed that human beings are fundamentally divided creatures, capable of greatness, yet drowning in misery. He thought we live in a constant state of contradiction, craving meaning while fleeing silence, desiring truth while hiding from ourselves. According to Pascal, nearly everything we do is a strategy to avoid one thing: being alone with our thoughts. All of humanity's problems, Pascal wrote, stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Think about that. No phone, no music, no noise, just you. How long would you last? Pascal argued that when distraction is stripped away, what remains is not peace, but boredom, anxiety, and despair. He described existence as a vast, silent space of time and emptiness, where meaning does not announce itself. He believed we build entire civilizations just to avoid facing this void. Work, entertainment, ambition, gossip, war, pleasure, diversions, all of them. Not because they are evil, but because they are anesthetics. Pascal wasn't saying people are shallow, he was saying they are afraid of discovering their own insignificance, afraid of realizing that without meaning, everything collapses. Remove distraction, Pascal said, and people become intolerably depressed, not because life suddenly became meaningless, but because they can no longer escape that possibility. Yet here is the paradox. Pascal also believed that recognizing this misery is the first step toward greatness. Man's greatness comes from knowing that he is wretched. A tree does not know it is wretched. An animal does not reflect on its own despair. But humans do. And that awareness, painful as it is also power. To Pascal, self-knowledge is not self-loathing, it is clarity. He believed pretending we are fine keeps us small. Facing our condition, honestly, opens the possibility of transformation. This is where Pascal becomes uncomfortable. He didn't want to comfort you, he wanted to unsettle you. He wanted you afraid for your soul. Pascal believed fear could awaken people from complacency, from shallow living, from distraction-driven existence. Here is the parallax. Pascal also believed that recognizing this misery is the first step toward greatness. But now let me turn the question back to you. What if we apply this logic not to God, but to life itself? What if the wager is not, does God exist, but is this life worth loving? Imagine choosing to believe that your existence has value, even without certainty. If you're right, you experience your only life fully, deeply, honestly. If you're wrong, and something more exists beyond this life, you lose nothing. Isn't that also a rational wager? I want to know what you think. Is meaning something we discover or something we create? Tell me below. This is where the real conversation begins. Pascal believed that humans exist in a strange tension, caught between infinity and nothingness. We are too aware to be content, yet too limited to grasp ultimate truth. This awareness, he thought, is both our curse and our dignity. What makes Pascal so haunting is that he never lets you escape into optimism or despair alone. He drags you through both. He forces you to confront boredom, anxiety, suffering, and death, but refuses to let you conclude that nothing matters. He believed that the very fact we hunger for meaning is evidence that meaning matters. Hunger implies food exists. Now here's something unsettling. Pascal thought distraction was humanity's greatest enemy. Not sin, not ignorance, distraction. He believed we would rather die than be bored. Look around. Endless scrolling, endless noise, endless stimulation. Pascal would have a field day with modern life. But he wouldn't be smug about it. He would be worried. Because distraction prevents introspection, and introspection is where transformation begins. But introspection hurts. It reveals our fragility, our smallness, our mortality. And yet, this is Pascal's genius. He believed humans endure anyway. Despite knowing how bad things can be, we continue, we love, we build, we hope. That persistence, Pascal believed, points beyond despair. Whether you call it God, meaning, purpose, or something God-shaped, the impulse to keep going refuses to die. History itself is proof, an endless cycle of questioning, answering, building, destroying, and rebuilding again. Pascal died before finishing Pensées, but maybe that incompletion is the point. His fragmented writing mirrors the fragmented nature of human thought. We do not arrive at meaning in straight lines. We circle it, we doubt it, we lose it, we find it again. Pascal's work survives because it feels unfinished, just like us. Before we continue, if this video is making you reflect more than you expected, consider subscribing. This channel exists for people who want depth, not distraction. Now, let's talk about strength. Pascal is often labeled pessimistic, but that's too simple. He didn't believe everything would be okay. He believed we would endure even when it isn't. That is not optimism. That is resilience. He showed us that humans can stare into the abyss and still imagine redemption. Even stripped of theology, that insight remains powerful. We are capable of carrying unbearable knowledge and still choosing to live. So here's my question to you. Do you think facing the harsh truths of existence makes life heavier or more meaningful? Leave your answer in the comments. I want to hear real thoughts, not easy ones. Pascal's life itself is a warning and an invitation. He followed curiosity wherever it led, into mathematics, science, philosophy, theology, and psychology. And that journey cost him comfort, certainty, and peace. But it also gave him depth. He reminds us that avoiding hard questions doesn't protect us, it shrinks us. The tragedy of Pascal is not that he suffered, it's that most of us refuse to think deeply enough to suffer honestly. Yet here we are, centuries later, still reading his fragments, still haunted by his questions. Because they are our questions. Are we broken or unfinished? Are we miserable or awakening? Is meaning discovered, bestowed, or forged through struggle? Pascal doesn't give final answers, he gives pressure. Pressure to think, pressure to feel, pressure to stop hiding behind distraction. And maybe that is his greatest gift. Before we reach the end, I want to ask you something personal. When was the last time you sat alone with your thoughts? No phone, no noise, no escape. How did it feel? Tell me in the comments. And if you value content that challenges you rather than numbs you, please like the video. It makes a real difference. Pascal believed that even if God is removed from the equation, the human drive for redemption remains. We want our suffering to mean something. We want our endurance to matter. And that desire alone is remarkable. Pascal shows us that hope does not erase despair, it grows inside it. Meaning does not eliminate suffering, it justifies enduring it. And perhaps that is enough. Before Pascal died, frail, exhausted, and painfully aware that his body was failing him, he did something quietly radical. He accepted incompletion. Pensées was never finished, never polished, never resolved, and that is precisely why it endures, because human life is unfinished. Pascal's fragments do not march toward certainty, they circle doubt, return to fear, stumble into hope, and then fall silent again, just like our own thoughts at 3 in the morning. He did not leave us answers carved in stone. He left pressure points, ideas that press inward and refuse to let us remain comfortable. Pascal shows us that clarity does not come from avoiding despair, but from staring at it long enough to understand its shape. And once you understand despair, it loses some of its power. It becomes information rather than destiny. Pascal believed that acknowledging our fragility does not weaken us, it dignifies us. To know you are temporary, limited, and flawed, and still choose to act, love, and hope, that is strength. Think about that. Not blind optimism, not denial, endurance with open eyes. How many of us are truly willing to live that way? Let me ask you directly, do you think distraction is protecting you or slowly draining something essential from you? Answer honestly in the comments. There's no right response, only real ones. Pascal believed that when distraction collapses, meaning has a chance to emerge. Painful, yes. Unsettling, absolutely, but real. And reality for Pascal mattered more than comfort. If this idea resonates even a little, take a second to like the video. It signals to the algorithm and to me that this kind of depth is worth continuing. Pascal's legacy is not religious certainty or philosophical pessimism. It is courage. The courage to face the human condition without flinching. And maybe that courage is something we desperately need again. We live in an age of constant reassurance. Everything is fine. Everything happens for a reason. Just stay positive. Pascal would have rejected all of it. Not because he wanted people to suffer, but because he believed false comfort is more dangerous than honest despair. He knew that when suffering is ignored, it mutates. It turns into anxiety, numbness, or quiet resentment. Pascal wanted suffering named, not erased. He believed that once suffering is acknowledged, it can be transformed. Not eliminated, transformed. This is a crucial distinction. Modern culture often treats pain as a malfunction. Pascal treated it as data, information about what it means to be human. And here is something extraordinary. Despite all his darkness, Pascal never concluded that life was pointless. He concluded that it was unbearably significant. Meaning for Pascal was not obvious. It had to be pursued, wrestled with, suffered for. Whether through God or something God-shaped, humans cannot stop searching. Even when we pretend we've given up, the search continues underground. Let me ask you this. If you stripped away your goals, distractions, and identities, what would remain? Does that thought scare you, or does it feel strangely honest? Tell me in the comments. I want this to be a conversation, not a monologue. Pascal believed that facing this question is unavoidable. You can delay it, but you cannot outrun it. And maybe that's not a curse. Maybe it's an invitation. There is something deeply unsettling and deeply hopeful about Pascal's view of humanity. He believed we are both miserable and magnificent at the same time, not sequentially, simultaneously. We are broken and aware of being broken, and that awareness changes everything. Pascal believed that even when humans deny meaning, their actions betray them. We still love, we still create, we still grieve, we still care. If nothing mattered, why would any of that hurt? Why would loss feel unbearable? Pascal saw grief itself as evidence of value. You do not mourn what is meaningless. This is where Pascal quietly dismantles nihilism. The fact that suffering wounds us proves that something mattered in the first place. That is not weakness, that is proof of depth. So maybe the question is not, why does life hurt, but why does it matter enough to hurt at all? I want to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think pain diminishes meaning or reveals it? Leave your answer below. Pascal's brilliance was not optimism or despair. It was refusal. He refused easy answers, and he refused to let humanity escape its own seriousness. We matter, even when it's inconvenient, especially then. Pascal's life ended quietly, without resolution, without closure. But his ideas did not. They survived because they speak to something permanent in us. The inability to stop searching. No matter how distracted, cynical, or exhausted we become, the question of meaning keeps resurfacing. And maybe that is not a flaw. Maybe it is our defining feature. Pascal shows us that hope does not arrive fully formed. It is constructed, piece by piece, inside uncertainty. Whether you believe in God, meaning, purpose, or simply the stubborn will to endure, the impulse is the same. We keep going. So here is my final question for you. If life has no guaranteed answers, does that free you or terrify you? Tell me honestly in the comments. And if this video made you think longer than you expected, consider subscribing. We don't do easy comfort here. We do honest confrontation. Pascal believed that humanity's greatest strength is its refusal to stop asking. And as long as we keep asking, something within us remains alive. Thank you for being here.